So, Lon, I mentioned off the top with 11 hard commits for a top 3 ranked recruiting class in the country. And obviously, there's a whole lot to have happen before December, but they're certainly well on their way to a great recruiting class here. So, I'm going to leave this wide open for you to shine a spotlight on a current commit. So, we got 11 commits. Pick one out and give us just your thumbnail on one particular player.
Just so one of those commits to LSU, current
one of the commits we've already received here at LSU. Just one guy that you would like to highlight.
You know what? Jake Johnson. You know, there was a coach at LSU who I really want to name right now, but I was told by one of the premier recruiting analysts in the country, don't do that. That'll be breaking, that'll be a violation. But one of the top coaches at LSU said, you know, Jake Johnson isn't a tight end. He's a weapon. And that's what I was exactly feeling from watching his tape. You know, watching him with Max during his sophomore year, he's just leaping over guys, making these tyrannical catches, Mark, like they were nothing. Terrace Marshall kind of leaping grabs like that touchdown to seal the title against Clemson. But then he's burning people on these slants. Jake Johnson, he's not going to get the ball, 12 times a game at Oconee. That they run a more bruising, power-driven offense. He knows that. I've talked to Jake about this. He understands that he's going to have limited opportunities. He understands that more than anybody. He's the one who is educating me on how he's going to approach his senior season. And I feel like his hard-nosed, intense approach for this senior season is only going to help him when he goes to LSU next year and plays with his brother. I feel like you watch his tape and you watch him burning some of the best corners out there, off the line, Mark. You can't call him a tight end. He might be one of the best players overall in the country. I feel like he easily would be in the top 5. Watching what he did, just completely desecrating some of the best coverage guys out there off the line, making people like drop their jaws. My phone was blowing up from people I'd never talked to saying, "Oh my gosh, Jake," because they remembered the few interviews I had done with Jake before that. And they just were so excited about, "Oh my gosh, Jake Johnson, oh my God." And it's like, I've been trying to tell people this. He's not just Max's brother. He's an absolute dominator out there. He could play with any quarterback in the country. He could play in any offensive system. You can put him pretty much anywhere on the football field, and he's going to be effective for you. Jake Johnson, he's got the size. He's 6'6", 225. The craziest thing, Mark, when you watch his footage from that last camp, the LSU camp, where he absolutely just arrested people out there, just destroyed people, he was doing that recovering from a torn quad. He had told me that, kept that on the down low. But then after that camp, we were doing his profile, and I said, "Jake, I have to tell the people that you did that on a torn quad. You have to let me tell the people, because we got to get you your 5th star." And, he said he didn't give a damn about a 5th star. And I was like, I get that, but it's about respect at some point. It's got to be about respect. You went out there with a torn quad and did that. He's recovered now. He wants me to make that sure in my articles that he's fully recovered, as he showed in that camp. He's ready. But the fact that he was rusty after a torn quad, partially torn quad, he comes back in there and does that type of a performance at that camp. He was already an LSU commit. He had nothing to prove. He could have just stood on the sidelines. Instead, he went out there and competed his ass off. And that's why I have complete respect for not only, Jake and the way he works, but the way he's been raised by his mom, Nikki, and his dad, Brad, the Bull Johnson. I feel like a really awesome grade A family there.
Jake Johnson is the second-rated tight end. Regardless of what Lon tells us, he is categorized as a tight end here. So we got Jake Johnson as the second-rated tight end in the country, 6'5", 235. 7th rated player in the state of Georgia, number 81. That is the 247 Sports Composite.